news when you're not out there, so fill us in. What's going on?
Just typical old man training camp issues. You get back tightens up a little bit, and it's the time of year that just got to take a couple days, let it calm down, and then get back in the swing of things. You don't want it to be something that lingers too long.
So, so you'll not practice today, are you saying?
Right? Yeah, we'll take today off and see how things go tomorrow.
How about the game?
Just taking it one day at a time. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I'll be lucky to be alive, and maybe I'll be luckier if I can practice.
Aside from what you can't know from only 11 snaps on the field, through training camp plus the 11 snaps, what have you learned about how good the line can be?
I think we can be really good. Obviously, we've got three guys that have started a lot of games, and I think Austin's doing a good job as a right tackle. He's got some experience as a starter, and then Cam's the youngster that hasn't really played a lot in the NFL, but I've seen good things from all the guys, and now I think it's just a matter of comprehension of the offense and getting everybody on the front on the same page and going out and executing as one unit.
You talked about you hanging out with Irving after your practice sets and whatever you're doing. Have you been counseling him a lot? And what kind of left tackle? How much can a left tackle educate the center?
Well, I think after being here for 10 years, there's a pretty good understanding that I have of all the positions on the line. So, technique-wise, schematically, I feel like I can give some good insight to all the guys on the line. But more specifically, I feel like I've got a pretty good understanding of the process of what it takes to try to succeed as an offensive lineman, regardless of technique or assignment. And so, all the young guys that have come through and become starters here since I've been around, going back to when Alex Mack was a rookie, I've kind of taken it upon myself to try to give those guys insight into my process of how I prepare for practice, how I prepare for games, how I prepare for my opponent, my way of understanding the technique and remembering it and learning the offense. And I think those are things that those guys have said that they've appreciated, and they've been able to learn a few things about just how to prepare for an NFL game.
So how was Cam as far as, was he receptive then to?
Yeah, he really is. He's a really smart guy, and it's important to him. And I think it shows up pretty quickly how important this game is to somebody when you start talking about you need to write things on note cards and quiz yourself. And if it's important to them, they're willing to do those details that some people might not be willing to do because football's always been just something that's fun and you just go out and play.
Joe, is it a point of concern that Griffin was knocked down 4 times in 11 plays, or is that just he better get used to that? That's just the job.
Well, as an offensive lineman, our goal is always not to let the quarterback get hit at all. So any contacts with Robert is something that we'll definitely want to work to improve on.
Joe, we all know about your streak. So when something like the back tightens up on you, is that concerning to you? Like long term might affect the season?
It's not concerning long term from the season standpoint because there's been times during the season even that your back gets tight and you try to manage yourself during the week of practice and then do whatever you need to do with ace wraps and bandages and heat packs and stuff to get ready to play on Sundays. And that's just life in the NFL. You do what you can to try to get yourself as healthy as possible on a Sunday and for you to be able to prepare for your to be your best. But a lot of times, especially as you get older, the routine of training camp needs to change a little bit so that something that pops up that's minor in training camp doesn't linger for the whole season. I mean, you see it all across the league. You get a veteran guy that tweaks a quad or a hamstring or something, and if it was a season, maybe you try to milk them and try to get as much as you can out of them on Sunday. But in training camp, you just got to be careful so that you don't have a lingering issue all season long.
So this is nothing you've never dealt with. You've dealt with this before.
Yeah, I've dealt with the back issue before. I think it's pretty common for most offensive linemen to deal with a bad back as they get later in their career.
Joe,
Yeah, we get MRIs all the time, and that's the beauty of working closely with university hospitals. Is it doesn't take but 24 hours to bounce over there and get an MRI just to take a quick peek. And really, anytime you get any sort of more than minor injury, you always want to take a picture of it and take a look at it and make sure that what you've been diagnosed with is what exactly is going on.
So nothing structurally wrong. It's not something like, you'd have to have any type of procedure or anything.
You know, I don't ever think it's a good idea to go into details about any injuries that anybody has, but I'll just say that it's nothing that's concerning long term.
How detailed have your conversations been with Hal Hunter in terms of there would be some coaching maybe that it would be wise for you to have done, telling him what the guys are like here and that sort of thing?
Well, Hal and I had some good conversations when he took over the job, just talking about the guys that we have that are coming back and talking about the schemes that he's been in and the schemes that we've been in. So we've had those conversations before, but this time of the year you're just kind of getting in the routine of training camp, and you don't really talk about that too much because at this point he knows those guys pretty well.
Well, how important is he to what you guys are doing?
Well, he's very important. Offensive line coach, it's probably the most difficult non-coordinator position on a football team because a lot of times, largely, you're involved in game planning, especially in the run game and the pass protection game. So you are kind of like a coordinator, and you're trying to put your offensive line in the best position to succeed. And there's a lot of X's and O's that goes on with that, and the technique is something that is probably not seen at any other position. And so it's a very, very detailed coaching position, and that's why a lot of times you see guys specializing in offensive line coach, and then they don't ever go anywhere else because you put so many hours and so much time into being an offensive line coach that it's a very, very specialized position, more than any other coaching position, I think, in the NFL.
Joe, you talking about taking notes and all that. Do you still do all that as much as you've done throughout the
It tapers back slightly just because there's some things that are so ingrained in your brain that you don't even need to write it down anymore. But I'm the type of guy that likes to write everything down, even if it's something that I already know, because it kind of just helps keep you engaged in meetings. It's just a good way to not fall asleep. So I do take pretty detailed notes, even though for the most part I have a pretty good understanding of what we're trying to do.
Joe, you know how they talk about, obviously, the five guys have to work together in concert, but because you guys are solid over there on the left-hand side, do you think it's like less of an issue for you to miss a few days or a game than it would be somewhere else on the line?
You know, actually, when I'm not out there, I look at it as a benefit for the line because the guy who's behind me is getting those reps with the number ones, and he's getting his opportunity against the top defense, especially like in a preseason game. And me personally, I've seen it all and done it all, and so for me, I just need to knock the rust off and get in shape. And once you get that kind of down, there's not a whole lot else to do out there, especially playing next to Joel. He's a guy I've played next to for a couple years. So once you got that part of things figured out, it's actually really good for me sometimes not to be out there so that other guys are getting those reps in case we do need them, whether it's left tackle or right tackle. They're getting those live reps that they probably wouldn't if I was out at a practice.
How much have you talked to Alex Mack?
I'll probably talk to him a good bit this week when they come up here, but since training camp started, we'll text, but there's not a whole lot of time to FaceTime and whisper sweet nothings in each other's ear.
With expectations for this season, kind of bouncing off some of your past comments about your dream is to be a playoff team here. The people that we tend to talk to, talk in terms of it could be as bad as last year, or 8-8 is the wildest dream. And 8-8's not going to be a playoff year for you. Do you hold out hope that you guys can fast forward the latest rebuild?
Yeah, I'm definitely very optimistic about this season. We're a young team, inexperienced at a lot of positions, but I think what that means is that we're going to see a lot of growth and progress throughout the season. A lot of times these teams that are veteran teams that have been together for a long time, the first week of the season they're as good as they're going to be, and they're just trying to maintain that level. But for us, I feel like we can improve every single week and get better. And I don't see any reason why we can't be a playoff team this year.
Did you get a sticker for your pancake block at Green Gay?
Maybe if we got helmet stickers, maybe Ohio State will bring me one.
Hey, what's up with you on Twitter? What brought this on?
Wild.
I just want to surpass Dan Murphy in followers, and then I'll shut it down.
Shouldn't be too hard. should it?
Well, I'm really struggling right now. He has got a handy lead.
What prompted this? Is there?
I don't know. I think as I get closer to the end of my career, it's probably a good thing to have a Twitter page so that you do have that conduit to the fans, especially as you are done playing. Thought it would kind of be a little fun. I think when it first came out earlier in my career, I think it was something that guys have to be real cautious of, but after being an observer for a long time, I feel like I've got a handle on it enough where we can have some fun with it without making any waves that you shouldn't.
But you did this thing with Greco now. You peaked with those. How are you ever going to find anyone to?
I know it. You know what? It will be hard to ever make anything better than that, but we'll certainly try. So definitely tune in to the next Q&A to find out.
Will this is this part of the new marketing arm of the Joe Thomas Hour?
You never know. You'll have to tune in to find out.
Hey, Joe, can you talk about how important is it and necessary for Robert Griffin to take command of both the huddle and the locker room? And where are you in that process?
He's doing a great job as a leader. He's a natural leader. He's done that in college. He's done it at the pro level. He's played in a playoff game as the starting quarterback. So he's got a lot of natural leadership abilities, and I think he's doing a great job out there. I think early on, everyone's trying to figure out the offense and understand their roles and stuff. But I'd say in the last couple of weeks, he's definitely been asserting himself as a leader, and I think it's what you need. Your quarterback has to be the leader on offense. There's not going to be a good offense in the NFL that the quarterback is not the leader in, and Robert's definitely our leader.
Hey, Joe, John Hughes came back today. Do you guys, I mean, I know he's been on the team a while. Do you guys have a relationship? Did you keep in touch while he was gone?
We didn't. We've played together for a while, and he was gone for a little while, and maybe he'll address it today, but it wasn't something that was well known in the locker room. So that's about all I can say about it.
I mean, he talked and he said that he thinks the support of the team will help him refocus on football, and he's looking forward to being back.
Good, yeah, we're happy to have him back. He's a great guy and a great player, and he's obviously going to be a big part of what we do on defense, so we're definitely happy to have him back.